Hey YouTube, Tyler79 Durden here. Gonna do a follow-up video at the request of one of the viewers. Just put up a video yesterday and had a viewer ask me the procedure for one of the things I talked about in that video, and that procedure is replacing the two-piece delta ring and poly handguard and replacing it with a free float handguard on the Colt Umarex M4 Walter 22 caliber carbine model, which again comes with the poly handguards. I didn't care for those. I wanted to put a scope and some 45s, so I needed to have a front rail also. So we're going to jump right into it. I got 9 minutes left. Hopefully I can get this all out. So first thing we do is we remove the front sight from the gun. 2 pins and a set screw hold that in place. Then you will remove the factory barrel nut and delta ring assembly. And you can, one of two ways, you can either put the AR wrench on here and turn it off, and in my case we put the AR wrench on and it slipped and it started breaking teeth, so I took the Dremel to it. I took the Dremel to the underside of it, on the bottom right here. There's a relief in the barrel that if you happen to cut a little bit too deep right here, you're not going to scratch it. So what I do is I just use the Dremel and cut through until I could see black dots. Those black dots represent the threads starting to show through. And I cut the front, stuck a screwdriver in, and snapped it. That's how you cut off a barrel nut. That's not what this video is about. The video is about the fact that the threads on the Colt Umarex M4 are not the same as an AR-15 upper. They're different threads. The threads are proprietary on the Colt Umarex, and I don't like it, but that is the way it is. So I had to make something work after I cut this off, and the company could not send me a replacement. It looks like I'm going to be doing this in a 2-part video, so we'll call this part 1. Obviously, I'm already at 3 minutes, so I'll slow down a little bit. Once you have that off of there, you're going to find that the threads are different and they're not the same, and standard AR parts will not thread onto the upper. So you're left with a couple choices. You can buy the $130 Colt Ops model handguard, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. Or you can stick with a 2-piece style, in which case it still uses the delta ring to hold it in place. That's not what I wanted. I wanted the free float. So I ordered I think a $60 or $70 quad rail from one of the online shopping sites. And when I got it and tried to fit it on, I found out that the threads were close, but not quite. That the threads inside the new barrel nut were a little bit larger. It would slide over the receiver's threads. With a little work, you could wiggle it and get it to pop up thread by thread, pop, 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 pop. So it didn't thread right, it didn't seat on there right. So I had to figure something out, and I looked at the barrel nut and I decided I was going to JB weld it, because there was a few good things on there. I thought I could be able to get this JB weld to secure it properly. So what I did was with the zoomed out here, with the new handguard threaded all the way down onto its nut, which you'll be doing off the weapon, obviously. And you'll see here it's stopping there. So this would be its final position. What I did was I just made sure that everything was tight like this, even though I could still take this and physically pull it off of the threads without unscrewing them. I still wanted to make sure this was lined up. Okay, so I got this nice and tight, and I set that down as far down as it would go on top of the barrel, and you can see that there's a gap there, and that's as far as it would sit. Okay, right to that gap. So the threads on the receiver I cleaned with a Dremel and a wire wheel really good, and then I continued to clean them chemically with this rust and blue remover and a Q-tip. What I did was I just wiped them down, okay, until they were coming up pretty clean, and then I switched to newer Q-tips, denatured alcohol, wiped it down till it was nice and clean. I mean, making sure everything is clean is very, very key. Once I knew I had one side of it clean, I grabbed the handguard and I flipped it over, and basically I'm holding the handguard like this, and I clean I take the Dremel and I clean all of the, or some, I should say, not all, some of the anodizing off the insides of the threads on the new barrel nut and assembly, the handguard. And I kept doing that with that bluing and rust remover until it wasn't coming out black anymore. Again, grabbed a new Q-tip, denatured alcohol, clean that out real good in there until everything was clean. There was shiny metal on shiny metal. Okay, that's very important. Then what I did was I took the gun and I set it on a table like this, on my kitchen counter actually, and it stood upright just like that. It just stood there, and I said, okay, that's good, I can use gravity to help me. So with the flash hider installed and tight and the barrel still in its factory original position, that's all I did. Was I just took the Dremel around it and cleaned it all up. With all of that in its factory position, I took this quad rail, I took my JB weld and a little cute toothpick, and I just basically filled all the threads in here in the new ring on the handguard. I filled all of that with JB weld all the way up to this lip. Okay, and I even put some on that little ledge right there. There's a matching ledge that is on the barrel shroud that forces, that pressure forces the barrel down against the receiver. So I got all those threads cleaned. I got the threads on the gun cleaned. Everything's chemically cleaned now. And